Hey, we're Damn the Wolves. I'm Jody.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Rick.
And you're listening to Now That's What I Call Damn Good Music.
The podcast.
This episode, we're talking about one of the greatest debut albums of all time. The 1992 release of Rage Against the Machine by Rage Against the Machine. Do you two agree with that?
Yes.
One of the greatest debuts of all time?
Yes.
Yeah, the figures speak for themselves, I suppose, don't they?
They do. So do the songs.
Absolutely.
And the legacy.
Yeah.
And the impact.
Yeah. So this band formed in 1991, a year before this came out. So it was only a year in the making.
They had major labels at their second gig.
Is that right?
I read somewhere, or I made up somewhere.
There's a famous video, isn't there, of their first gig on YouTube?
Yeah, but is it their first gig, or where it looks a bit like a Village Fete?
Yeah, I think it's like a college kind of outdoor affair, isn't it?
But they sound exactly like they do on the record.
They're there, yeah. The band is there, the sound is there.
So were the songs written within that 12 months then, or were they written?
I think Tom Morello had a lot of the songs, a lot of the riffs, a lot of the ideas. I did hear a really funny story that he apparently, to make a bit of money before Rage, he was teaching guitar. And he was
I know this story.
Do you know this? Yeah. And he was demonstrating. I'll tell it for Brett and the listeners that might not know. He was demonstrating how to come up with riffs and stuff in drop D, and he stumbled upon the riff for Killing in the Name.
What, while he was
teaching?
Yeah.
No way.
He sort of played it once and he's like, oh yeah, right, well, yeah, moving on. And then apparently he came back and recorded it.
No, the story goes that he actually stopped the lesson and recorded the riff. And
Is that right?
Yeah. I guess it'd have been a little dictaphone, one of those little cassette things back in the day.
Imagine that.
Back in the day.
That's a big thing to live with, isn't it? Just like teaching your students and then coming up with something that becomes
I found it quite amusing that he didn't want to carry on playing it in case the students thought, I like that riff.
So I do a little bit of teaching. I do quite a lot of teaching, and I do the opposite because students sometimes play stuff and think, that was really cool, I'm going to nick that. And never used any of it. I've got hundreds of hours of riffs that I've come up with in lessons that are all rubbish.
Is there any that are as good as Killing in the Name?
No.
Right.
Nothing.
Moving on, released on the 3rd of November 1992, it met with critical acclaim, but it wasn't really until 1993 and live performances at Lollapalooza where they really kind of picked up some steam. And I think those kind of energetic live performances really kind of helped sell them. Mm-hmm. Produced by Rage and G.G. Garth, who I believe we've talked about before.
We have, but he wasn't called G.G. Garth then, was he?
Was he not?
No, it was something Richardson or Richard Garth or G. Garth.
It wasn't Garth Algar, was it?
Yes, it might have been. Hey, Wayne.
I think this was one of his first big albums.
I'm Googling. I'm Googling.
He went on to what I know. We talked about him in the Biffy Clyro. He did Only Revolutions, didn't he?
Garth Richardson.
Right.
I was right for something. Garth Richardson.
Do you think he thought that wasn't a cool enough sort of stage name, producer name?
Or someone had a sort of stammer while putting some sleeve notes and it stuck. Who knows?
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So should we get stuck in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Track 1, Bomb Track.
Amazing.
Oh, I should say before we go into Bomb Track, how many copies do you think this has sold?
Oh, it's not going to be because it's not.
But this isn't mainstream music, is it? But this was.
It's in the.
I'm going to go straight in with 5 million.
What do you think, Brett?
I think it's going to be more than that. It's in the 90s, right? So I mean, that's when everyone was buying records.
92.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not got a big crossover to the.
No, I guess
the Housewives, is it?
No.
No,
7 million.
It's just over 5 million. So you were the closest there, Rick.
Thank you. What
Very
do I win?
Good. You win the accolade of being the closest.
Incredible.
Track 1, Bomb Track.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say when you said, "Oh, I really should say something before this"? I thought it was going to be.
There's a lot of uhs, isn't there?
Do you know is now a good time to talk about the
I think mine's the best.
Yours sounds more Steel Panther.
Oh, man.
I do believe there's over 30 of those.
Have you counted
on this
them?
album? No, I heard it. It was one of those facts that you pick up.
Google. How many times does Zach De La... And now also, is it Zach De La Roche? Roche? What are we going with?
I'm going to go with Rocker.
It's not. It is. Tom Morello refers to him as Zach Della Rocha.
Yes, but do you know he refers to Tom Morello as Tom Marshmallow? So maybe he's
Very
just getting
good.
back.
Let's get back
Can
on
we talk
track.
about the
shall we?
nicknames I got for you boys in the band? I've never released them before.
No, we'd end up with a little symbol by the podcast if you do that.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Track 1, Bomb Track. What a brilliant song.
What
Absolutely brilliant.
a great way that the song opens, though, isn't it? That kind of just the way that
Yeah, it fades
that
in.
line and it fades in, and the build, and when the band come in there, it's like whoa.
And what does Zach do, Brett?
No.
What's on your mind, Brett?
But what I was doing what I do.
Do you find that the this is almost oh dear, this is almost it's kind of frustrating in the way that you have to turn it up. Do you think they've done that on purpose so
Yeah,
that
so
the riff is quiet, but then when the when that riff kicks in, your stereo is really loud.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it just melts
Yeah.
your face, doesn't it? It's just such a great,
There's some incredible
powerful
sounds throughout the whole album, but just I love the way that the particularly the bass and the drums sound together. I think it's just incredible.
That's great. I was
production.
thinking about
Yeah.
the main riff to this. Can I?
Go on,
You
then.
don't- no, you don't
Go
want
He
to
on.
got a guitar.
we've got
Oh, he's got a guitar.
Oh god!
Oh no, as
Just-
you've asked.
we know you got one. We just spent 25 minutes sound checking it before we press record.
Doesn't work now, does it?
Oh.
Oh, it's dying.
Where's
Oh
it?
dear,
Oh no!
there it is.
I should have
Oh.
spent 26 minutes sound
You should
checking.
have spent
it, shouldn't
26 quid on a guitar that worked.
I haven't got that sort of money. There we go. Yeah. This bit. Oh yeah. That's all. It's all unison, isn't it? With like the kick, the
Yeah.
snare, the bass and guitar are in unison or octaves.
Yep.
And everything's so tight, but also sonically, it's mixed really, really well.
Yeah.
Everything has its own little frequency and own little space. Yeah, it still sounds it is just the three instruments, isn't it?
Yeah.
And-
I know it's double track guitar,
And
but
one chord through the whole verse, isn't it? Doesn't change, is it?
I'm in the wrong key, aren't I? How's the verse go? I want to play this bit.
That's not
That's
the
the
verse.
middle bit, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
based
ba-
all
based
over
over
the
the
F sharp,
isn't it?
minor sort of bluesy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then a lot of that sort of thing that's where the funk element comes in and the rap and that sort of thing, where it's not harmonically complex as such,
Yeah.
is it?
And
It's
a
based
lot
over a
of these
groove.
songs follow the pattern of the intro riff is the chorus riff,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So you get the vocal that comes in over that is the chorus
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
which is it's kind of a bit of a pop thing as well, isn't it? Where you put a chorus right at the start of the song,
Yeah.
so it kind of gets that
Like an instrumental version of the chorus at the start, so it's
Yeah.
kind of there when you hit the chorus. You go, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
kind of a
Put the
classic
guitar
thing,
down,
isn't it?
Brett. You'll be pleased to know now.
Yeah. So there's a lot of angst in this, isn't there?
Yes,
Zach De La Rocha, there's his performance throughout the whole album is
Angry.
is angry but powerful.
but he's yeah. And while we're talking lyrics, it's not when I listened to this album or when I got into them a bit, or it wasn't really the lyrics that did it for me. I'm lucky enough that I'm not, I guess, in life affected by some of the things he discusses and his grievances, but you can't deny he doesn't mean it, and he's full of passion, isn't he? And the commitment, the activism, I guess, is what it is, isn't it? They're activists. It's,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
but it's so politically charged, and the expressive. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really powerful. Another little anecdote for you with the political element of this. This was released on election day, US election day,
Wow.
this album.
Yeah.
As was one of their later albums.
They've also done performances against Republican candidates or electees and for Democratic ones, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they've timed performances and subsequently got arrested or in trouble for doing it.
Yeah. I think his performance, though, I mean, obviously the music draws you in straight at the start of Bomb Track. As soon as that main riff kicks in,
Yeah.
you're really engaged with it because it's such a great sound and it's so groovy.
Yeah.
But when he starts singing, you're really drawn to the kind of fire that he's putting into his
Yeah,
performance. And I think, like you said, Rick, with the first time I heard Rage, I wasn't necessarily listening to the lyrics or what the songs are about, but it was getting that kind of
a vibe.
anger from him. Yeah, the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was
What's great
was
about
powerful.
even without listening to every specific lyric, you know what it's about, and
Yeah.
you know who he's getting at. You know it's anti-authoritarian. That's a long word. Oh dear. You know roughly what he's getting at, who he's getting at, and what he's trying to say, even without necessarily the specifics.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you
And
said
that's
that.
just in the performance, isn't it?
Just trying to pick out the lyrics, it's quite a hard listen to try and, unless you sit and learn them and read them, but
Yeah.
I found myself understanding what the songs were about without hearing the rap and the speed and everything that he was
Yeah.
discussing. But what I love is just the overall.
But there's also odd lines, isn't there, Brad, that
There's key
stand
lines.
out. That,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
certainly in Bomb Track, the
hard line, hard line after hard line.
with the militant mind before,
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
the first verse, the bit that sticks out to me is the rhythm of how he sings. What is it? And the suckers, they be faking this, or what does he say? I have to go look it up. And suckers be thinking that they can fake this, fade this. So I don't know. But anyway, whatever the words are, the rhythm to it is brilliant.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the rap element, isn't it?
I've got a little bit of a thing about this song. Did you know it was written by Tim Comerford? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yep, Timmy
The bass
C,
player.
as he's labelled on the
Yes.
linear notes,
The
on
bass
sleeve
player.
notes.
Yes.
Timmy C. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This song was written by him,
But just this.
or the
Did he write the album?
No. This
Co-write
song.
the album.
He wrote this song, or he wrote the riffs. Anyway, I got distracted. Then my video stopped, so I don't know why. I've started the video
you're
again.
back again, are you?
Yeah, I was about to
back
come out something
again.
really interesting and noticed that the video stopped.
Yeah. One thing I did notice about this is that I think what makes it a really good opening track is it doesn't really go very far from that initial riff.
Yeah,
It kind of stays. It's very.
and we say
It's just got a vibe. I think
vibe,
you're right,
yeah.
Brett. It's got a vibe that kind of is just strong, and it's just a great introduction to it.
I don't want to overuse the word swagger, but I think that when I say swagger, I think it's taking a groove and making something slow. And
Oh,
when you move your head, and I talk about this a lot, but this has got probably an album that I've discovered that's got more swagger than anything I've ever listened to before.
Yeah.
Just because of the tempo and the speed and taking those notes out and just where those. We just talked about this, Rick, where they put 16th notes in and snare, which work and harmonise with the lyrics and stuff. It makes it so rhythmical, but just this thing where you're just moving your head, and that's what I love
yeah.
about this and the riffs that
Yeah.
everything.
I think Brad Wilk, the drummer, and Tim Comerford are a really, really, really powerful rhythm
it's
section.
incredible.
Yeah, for having that swagger and for being just super tight.
I don't know whether how much of this was recorded to click tracks, because there's stuff that's like the
Yeah.
moves as well.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Well,
as
there's
you
tempo
like.
changes as well, isn't there? Which
Yeah,
is
I mean,
called
there's
deliberate ones.
Deliberate tempo changes,
Yeah.
obviously, but some parts of it you just think,
The whole sound of the album is very much like a band playing.
totally. They've captured.
Yeah.
It's incredible how they've captured that.
Yeah.
And we say this a lot as well. But doesn't Bomb Track set the tone or set the mood for the album really well?
Yeah.
It sums it up brilliantly. You've got rap, punk, funk, rock, metal, all in, the
Mhm.
Led Zeppelin style grooves. You've got everything in this one.
Yeah. It's a great opening track. Track 2, Killing in the Name.
Wow.
Okay, so I didn't ask you guys at the start. We usually talk about where we first heard
Oh,
something
yeah.
from this album.
I
And
can't remember.
for me, it was hearing Killing It or seeing Killing in the video to Killing in the Name on what was it on?
MTV.
No, it was on the is it Noisy Mothers
Garden as well.
or Raw
Oh.
Power? One of those really 2:00 in the morning rock shows, and I think they showed the video to this right at the end because at the time it was quite different, wasn't it? They were the first kind of breakthrough rap metal,
Yeah.
as you say, kind of with that punk bit as well.
I don't
seeing the
remember.
video.
Do you remember, Brett, when
No,
you first
I mean,
heard of Rage?
we
or
never
this
had
song?
anything like MTV growing up, and they weren't a mainstream band that you would watch and hear on TV growing up.
This song, I think, with its F bombs, shall we say?
Yeah.
Do you know the story about Radio 1 playing it?
Yes, I know they played it.
I forget who the DJ was.
The unedited version, didn't they?
Yeah, accidentally played it. Which DJ?
Probably someone like Simon Mayer.
It was someone like that, or Bruno. What's his name?
Bruno.
Not
I was going to
Mars.
say Bruno
I
Mars.
knew you were going to say Bruno. Yeah, that Bruno Brooks. It might be Bruno Brooks. But he played. Yeah.
Currently residing in the Where Are They Now files. That might be why.
They changed his name to Bruno Mars.
He made a comeback.
Yeah.
I remember Simon Mayer playing Pulp Fiction soundtrack and the one with the F-bomb in it by accident. I remember hearing that, thinking that's bad, isn't it? As a DJ,
Yeah.
you must sink.
So this track,
there's so much about this song.
there is so much about it, and it's right from that first big chord. I've got my bass today, chaps.
Yes.
Yeah, go on then.
And there's a lot of drop D in this, and you get that first
With a flanger on the guitar.
is really powerful,
Yeah.
and then breaking into that.
This
Oh, we haven't had bass in this for a while.
isn't it
Is-
mad that you can play two notes?
It's two notes, but it's so cool.
iconic
Yeah,
as a part.
Yeah,
You just, yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
And then you get the break, don't you? And then the killing in the name,
yeah,
and then boom.
yeah.
It's just a almighty riff, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we previously talked about. Tom Morello coming
From a
up with
guitar
in his guitar lesson.
point of view, what's interesting about the songs that are in drop D tuning like this one is that they're I think he uses a Telecaster on it. You can hear it's a really single coil Fendery sort of sound on the neck pickup is quite unusual for this sort of thing. It's not as
Yeah.
heavy as you think.
So I don't know whether you two have watched the Rick Beato. Have you watched the Rick Beato?
I've watched loads of Rick Beato, but I haven't seen it recently. I know what you're going to say.
He does a video on this song, and he talks about which you can hear when you're listening for it. You can hear the guitar is actually quite clean, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's actually the bass that when you've got that when the bass comes in doing that,
Yeah.
he's got his distortion on, and the
Oh, look,
guitar
you've
stays the
set
same.
that
So
up.
it's the bass that gives you that big sound. It's not actually the guitar,
No way.
which is cool.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
looking
Yeah,
at me a bit vague, Brett.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to think of the recording, but yeah, it's interesting. 'Cause it is quite a clean sound, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guitar is clean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many riffs in this song, isn't there?
I
Yeah.
know it makes me smile, this song, because I've got memories of this song from our friend Baz, who was playing like a Chili's Rage kind of cover band, weren't they? And we
Yeah.
used to see them go and watch them play live. And this song was always a song that
Is it? Because it's one of the others. I don't know if it's Take the Power Back or something like that. I always think of our friend Baz or Know Your
there's
Enemy.
a few of them on there.
Bullet in
isn't
your
there?
head. But the unnerving thing of memories of Baz, who no one obviously knows apart from Baz. Baz knows him, and we know him. Is he used to be really intense. Obviously, he'd get the vibe right. But he'd be shirtless, wouldn't he? And then he'd more often than not look at you and rub his nipple while singing these lyrics. And I found that quite confusing. You're like, yeah, I really believe this. Yeah, to the police, and then. Oh, what's he doing?
A very quick story. He did a gig once and broke his foot, didn't he? And then he didn't realise until he was supposed to come and record us the next day. Was he used to produce our old stuff?
He
and,
played through it, didn't he?
He's like, I can't come because I broke my leg last night. I didn't realise at the time. Did the gig.
I think he did
Isn't it?
turn up though, didn't he? He's turned up to the session a little bit late
Yeah.
with his leg in
Yeah,
his leg in
Shirtless.
plaster.
crazy.
It's just yeah.
With his sore nipples with his shirt off.
There are so many great guitar riffs, aren't there, throughout this song? Everyone is just brilliant, really, really strong.
And the groove. I'm not going to say swagger again, but the groove to this song is just like, with that riff and the sound.
Yeah,
But there's also some interesting stuff. Obviously, the solo with the whammy effect is really interesting,
yeah,
and the funky end to it, where it's kind of almost there's a few moments in this album where it's jazzy, and that's that. Where it's kind
Yeah.
of jazzed as minor 7 chords. It's kind of jazzy, isn't it? Which
Yeah.
is cool. Yeah, there's so many great aspects to this, isn't there?
and this is the guitar effect that he is renowned for is the Digitech whammy pedal.
Well,
Is
he's
that
renowned
correct?
for several things, but yeah, that's what's in this. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
You got your whammy pedal there, Rick?
I haven't got a whammy pedal.
Oh,
no,
you let
because
the team down again here now.
yeah, no, I haven't got one. Sorry.
So here's a conversation point which might be a bit too early in the podcast for this. Do you think, because obviously his sound is really iconic, do you think he is his kind of influence and that kind of such a unique sound, does that put him up there with the guitar greats the
Yeah.
innovators.
He's
You know,
certainly
your
really,
Jimi
really
Hendrix, your Eddie Van Halen's.
Well, that's quite a lofty place, but he's certainly massively influential, and the things he innovated and his use of effects and sounds, but also the mix of, they're just great riffs, aren't they? They're very Led Zeppelin inspired, great rock riffs, which is brilliant in its own right, but the kind of hip hop rap style sound effects that he was adding to it.
But his delivery of those great riffs, which they are, you know, fundamentally they are just great riffs. But do you, the way he's always kind of thinking outside of the box, isn't he? So he's not trying to serve it in the normal way. So you know, there's a note, isn't there? I think is this a note in the sleeves where it says there's no synthesizers, keyboards? Yeah,
they think they. Hang on, I'm putting my guitar down. Sorry.
Really, sort of proving
they did that in every album in the sleeve notes, didn't they?
Yeah, because they were, you know, he was really trying to prove that it was him and his guitar that were making all of these.
There's
weird
one solo
noises
in this album. I can't think of it, which one it was. That you think that is a keyboard or some sort of.
Sing it for me, Brett. That's a different album, isn't it?
Hey?
That sounds a lot like your R2D2 impression as well.
It sounds like one of his solos, I'm telling you.
Oh, well, no, that's a special. Yes, it's a special edition, isn't it? You've got.
Okay, so how powerful do you think the swearing is at the end?
Oh,
you know, that line that's repeated
17 times.
17 times.
Also, do you think there's only? Oh, I know this is like 8 lyrics in the song, isn't it? 8 lines.
Yes, it's
they're repeated. That's so powerful, isn't it?
Yep.
It's great.
And the mother trucker that he says at the end, is absolutely just.
How does he do that without breaking his?
And then finishing it with a big.
Oh,
right,
we love it.
And you just think, he's just it's brilliant. Yeah,
I wish I could do that. I'd do that all the time if I could do that like he could.
Yeah, and then of course it ends on the.
Yeah,
doesn't it as well, which is just great.
And it's got cowbells in it. What a song.
Yeah. It's got 2 cowbells in it, 2 different notes.
Yeah.
It's got to be twice as good. That's not a cowbell.
I know, I haven't got a cowbell.
Oh dear.
You missed it.
I think as far as shouting goes, like the delivery with the swear, and this, I get it with this song. The songs on this album where I don't, but I really feel what... I think I'm going through personal stuff in a minute, and it's like there's 2 ways that
You said that like the menopause.
Yeah, but I don't want to go into that. But there's you go through 2 emotions, that you go through highs and lows. And when I listen to this album, when I've been listening, because I'm not a big Rage fan, never, you know, but I've listened to this.
You can't say that on a podcast.
It's one of the greatest debut albums of all time.
It is. I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm just being honest that when you find yourself in a high, when you're like battling through and you're like feeling good, there's parts of this album that are brilliant that I've really discovered, and that attitude at the end with the swearing is one that I've really embraced and like get it, and I'm like, I'm in the car going fuck, you know, like that.
I think
that's your road rage creeping out again.
What you're saying fundamentally is the reason why it was such a big song, and why Rage broke and why they connected with so many people, because I think not necessarily about what he's singing about, but the sentiment of where he's coming from and the way his delivery.
Totally.
You know, there's a lot of people that are pissed off and angry.
Yeah.
You know, and for the generation of kind of teenagers that heard this for the first time, you know, as we did.
Yeah.
It struck a chord because it. You know, we were all angry and pissed off, and hearing someone saying that and shouting it was just connected.
Yeah. But I never connected this album before. To be fair, I'm being honest. But going through what I'm going through and listening to this because we're doing this, it was like it's quite certain songs, and I think this is probably the biggest. It's quite powerful stuff that when you are angry and pissed off, and you're on one of your highs, it gives you that. When I'm on low,
higher ground.
I struggle to listen to certain parts of this when I'm feeling down because I find it quite stressful, like the anger and.
But isn't that the mark of great art or great music?
Of course,
it's actually about. No. Well, we all know it's
the art is in this. Definitely, it's just my head that's.
it's actually about police brutality, isn't it? And the Rodney King episode. I don't want to comment too much on that, but so it comes from, you know, and for us, I don't know how much that has anything to do with how we're feeling. You know, racial inequality and police brutality, but put in expressively into art, and you can change it into your own.
You can change anything you want to.
Yeah, and like what was the kind of grassroots campaign against Simon Cowell and X Factor, wasn't it? Using this song, completely unrelated, but the same.
Yeah, but it just showed what happened and the outcome of that, how much it means to people.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Right,
when
I'm
it-
not sure it's quite on the same level as what the song was about, but yeah, we
Yeah,
let's
I know.
move on.
'Kay.
Track 3, Take the Power Back.
bass riff. Go on, are you going to do that?
Should I do it with you? See if we can do it.
We'll never do it in time. Ready? There we go.
Oh, that's about the first time you've ever done that.
It's just moved your camera, Joe.
Oh no. Oh dear.
There we go.
I could have
Move
done
that
that. Bring
back.
that shit in.
I better not play my bass drum. Is it my bass drum that did that then?
Oh, this is a belter of a song.
The bass drum,
It's a-
just quick on the bass drum, the sound, that kick drum sound is absolutely incredible. It's,
Yeah.
When you listen
Yeah.
to it, it's absolutely immense.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant.
I think
brilliant
that the
kick drum
bass sound is immense as well, isn't
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, obviously slapping most of the way through the song.
Do you want to give us a little bit of that
Um,
slap?
Oh, I don't.
You're not a slapper, are you?
I'm not a slapper. I
I'm a
don't-
slapper. Hey!
Boom, boom.
He missed the symbol.
He's here all week.
I got 6 of the fuckers as well, and I still missed it. Oh,
I'm not.
there we go.
It's yeah. I haven't done that for ages, but it's a really strong bass part, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it glues the drums and the guitars and everything together.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a really really great song.
I'm trying to explain this without the 16th notes that are put into the grooves on this is it's part of what gives it their iconic sound, I think. But there's just these certain placements of notes that are put in, and I think this is a good example. This song.
On the drums.
Yeah, but it's not just the drums, is it? It's everything. It's like there's a lot of little. You get that.
Syncopated.
You get
16th
that, but then you
semicolon.
get those little pushes, and it's like that stood out on this song to me when I was trying to think, what's given that kind of just making me move, and it's those little pushes. and
There's always the
stuff like that.
syncopation.
The syncopation,
Always
there
about
we
the
go.
syncopation.
Yeah.
Very, very clever.
Yes, very good. The breakdown in the second verse of this,
Yeah.
I really like as well.
Yep.
Where you go to the bass riff, I think it's fingerstyle, isn't it? It's rather than the slapping, but it just works really, really well. It's really effective.
I'll go have a go at playing it. Hang on. Yeah, carry on. I'm gonna
So-
have a go.
What are you doing?
I was just having a go.
Oh right,
I broke the guitar.
there we go. Well, that's enough of that.
Okay.
Did you the solo in this one, Rick?
Yeah.
I found this solo more than quite a few of the others actually to be quite a cool mix of being fast,
Yeah.
you know, like fast kind of rock playing, and then almost a bit Slash-like.
Slash.
Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
like
I've never
that
heard
kind of blues rock in the second half of it.
I think it's more jazzy than bluesy as such. But yeah, no, I've never thought of Slash. The coolest bit of the whole solo, unfortunately for our mate Tom, is the shit before it goes in. You can never live up to that when a solo starts with that.
Does he? I think that's the start of the song, isn't it? The bring that shit in line.
Yeah, but he also does a great shit
Does he?
going into the solo. It's
I
just-
do that quite a lot.
Yeah, but you usually
Mess up.
It's in a different. Yeah.
I've got to say, if we were recording, right,
Little snort there.
you don't want to be doing that. If we were recording, you know, and I was doing the vocals, and I said, "Bring that shit in,"
Yeah,
you two would laugh me out the building.
Yeah. Well, yes.
How does he do it and sound so bloody
Cool.
cool?
I know.
Yeah, because he means it, and it's slightly different vocalist
Yeah,
and
it's
maybe
just-
lyrical
yeah.
band.
Yeah, definitely. Right, track 4, Settle for Nothing.
Oh,
So-
his vocal sound in this
This is
visceral, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
so yeah. That's for me. I'm gonna be negative. And I don't mean to be. I don't think this song should be where it is.
Ooh. Do you not think it pace wise or dynamic wise helps the album as
No.
a whole? No. Ooh. Okay.
I would actually question whether it should even be on the album.
Ooh.
But can I counter that by
Yes.
saying it's not my favorite song on the album. In fact, it's probably my least favorite song. But it maybe it holds. It gives balance to the force.
I think the first 3 tracks of this album are possibly the best 3 tracks of any album.
Ooh.
You know, it's up there, isn't it? It's one of the best of all time. Those first 3 tracks.
Yeah, and this is
And
where
then
it
you
comes
hit this
undone
and
a
you just
little bit,
think, like it's a proper buzzkill, isn't it? It's like
Do you know what?
you're kind of up there, and then you just think, oh no. And
you know-
for me, I think, sorry, Brett, I think
Karen.
if I was sort of track listing this album, I would have put it sort of right in the middle. So it was either the last track on
Yeah,
side A
okay,
or the
yeah,
first track
yeah.
on side B, so that it did give you that breathing space. But I'm not sure whether the album needs it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The groove is it's almost flipped, isn't it, with the kick drum pattern and the what he I think is a China or something, but it's almost like the kick drum is doing what the Crash would be doing normally. It's totally switched on his face, and it's like, but everything else is like this real slow sort of swagger. But this is like, this kick drum is doing these eighth notes, and it's this real slap.
Do you think that's Brad Wilk trying to like speed them up and just trying to get the song going?
Possibly.
It's like
there's a couple of great moments. His vocal sound, as I said earlier, was amazing. When he shouts suicide or genocide is just, and the guitar solo adds something, doesn't it? It's got a really I don't know if you can remember it. It's really unusual, and the note choice is it's major, which makes it sound a bit bright, but with chromatic notes. There's some melodic minor stuff in there. It's really unusual, but that's quite cool. Like the jazzy part of that, and it just adds another color. But
no, to be fair, there are some great moments in the song.
But yeah,
excuse me.
Song-wise, should we move on?
Yeah, I mean Zach De La Rocha's vocal. I've got a note of 55 seconds where he sings, "I got a 9, a sign, a set, and now I got a name."
Yeah.
I mean the power and in his delivery is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
His vocal throughout the whole song is incredible. It's just it's a pacing thing for me.
Let me just try and demonstrate what I was talking about. See if this. I'm trying to explain about what makes you head move and groove and swag it. Can I just do something? Can I try?
Yeah.
It? So this would be a normal groove, right? Right. So that's it. Your hi-hat's doing that push thing, and but if you switch that around and your bass drum's doing that. That thing on the cymbal suddenly becomes the thing that makes your head, because that's the highness,
emphasizing
whether, and that's totally flipped over from what you would normally do, and that's why
that's the downbeats on the cymbal rather
basically,
than on the kick,
and it gives it such a delay of every that
different feel,
there, and a total different feel, and that's why I love it where it is there, because I found myself going because there's so much trust to have that space between that cymbal note, and that's what I love about this song.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Interesting.
That's,
cool.
Yeah, good.
Cool.
Yeah. Track 5, Bullet in the Head, which should have been track 4.
I've got a story about this song.
Go.
Oh, play it, yeah.
Oh, I'm still in D.
Oh,
Oh dear.
oh man.
This for me, you guys will know this because you probably do it yourself. Do you like sometimes when you're playing something that's really groovy, and you see other musicians doing it, don't you? And when you look at their faces and you get this sort of feeling yourself that you have your initial face is like you've smelt something like horrible, like you just smelt dog shit or something, like and you're like, and you've got that face of something's really wrong, and then all of a sudden like your head's bobbing, and you're really into it. This song is classic.
The groove and the verse is
it's amazing,
isn't it?
I might have talked about this lady friend of mine on another podcast. I can't remember.
Oh dear, here we go.
She was in 2 bands. She was in an Alanis tribute band.
Change the name, Brett. Change the name.
I'm not going to mention her name. She looked like Alanis.
Oh no!
And she was also in a cover band that we were dating, and I would go and watch the band, and they played like some, your average kind of covers during the 90s. I think it was like 98, 99, and they played this song. And they were quite a mediocre sort of covers band, and then they played this, and she gave this attitude. Like, I remember going the first time to see them, and I can't explain what she gave it like,
well, look out. Did you ever wonder whether you made her a bit angry?
I might well have made her angry, but what that did for me on that performance, I can't even tell you.
Did she do a good Zach De La Rocha?
She did.
Bring that shit in.
But yeah, I found it quite what's the word?
Erotic.
There we go. That was it.
Should
we leave it there?
Let's leave it there. Leave that story there. Did you one thing I love about this? I don't know whether because the bass and the drums are that's really tight. That between them, there's one of them at about 30, 40 seconds where he sort of fluffs it.
No way.
But yeah, and there's another one slightly later on, and I think it's in the first verse, where he's very slightly out of tune with his.
Oh, okay.
Not out of tune, out of time.
Yeah.
But it's like, I love the fact that they've left it in there.
Yeah,
and it gives it that really live.
Brings it to life, doesn't it? Brings it to life, yeah.
Interesting.
And do you know what? It was all about the Gulf War this time, wasn't it? So the song is kind of around that war propaganda and what that was all about, and the bullet in the head, meaning the propaganda bullets in your head. Is that what everyone else takes from it, or are you not?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to know what Brett takes from
I didn't get that deep into it. I was thinking about.
I think we know where you're
about my ex.
Yeah.
I think we ought to move on now.
Yeah.
Anything else on this one?
Love the wire in Kill Switch. What a sound.
The solo is the solo is that's.
Was that what you were singing earlier?
No, not on this song. No. But that's kind of an iconic thing, isn't it?
This Kill Switch where he's turning the guitar on and off really quickly.
I
haven't got a Kill Switch.
Oh, you haven't got anything tonight. You haven't got a guitar that works.
You haven't come prepared.
I just haven't got a guitar with a Kill Switch. If I'd played in your ex's cover band, I'd have had one. I have got a Kill Switch because the guitar's broken. Look. I've broken my guitar.
It's not a kill switch, it's just broken.
It's
It's just a broken guitar.
Yeah, I've got a broken guitar. I got one better.
I'm a big fan of the middle section of this song where it drops down to the riff.
That, but in the right
key.
key.
Yeah, that's right.
It's in the wrong key.
Yeah, and then it drops to just the bass, and you've got the kick drum, just keeping that pulse all the way through.
Yeah.
Which really builds you up, doesn't it? It gives you that low point before you get that massive build at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really strong. I think someone's just shot you.
I just love those.
You just got a bullet in the head. Track.
I was going to say something really rude then, and I'm not going to.
Good.
Why?
Because it was about you and bullet in the head. And your ex.
Let's move
anyway,
on.
Track 6, Know Your Enemy.
Yeah.
Kill
Switch riff again.
Yep.
Oh, or a broken guitar will do just the same.
The guitar part's awesome in this.
Yeah.
So this is that isn't it? Which is just brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kicks into the guitar riff, Rick.
Oh, hang on, is the guitar working? The
yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Which is brilliant, and there you've just got a really great intro, really great riff, and you know
what you're
most people would be happy there, and then you get that, and you just think this is awesome.
Oh, I messed it up.
Such a good groove. Yeah,
I messed it up again, didn't I? Yeah, I need to go
when the groove comes in, it tripped me up because you're expecting it to be a certain way from the intro, and when the drums come in, it's totally trippy. That it didn't.
Yeah.
You just a total different.
You're not expecting
it. No.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think the solo in this one, interestingly, does it remind anyone else of Steve Vai with the harmonizer?
I can't think of how the solo goes clearly enough to give an opinion on that. I'm afraid.
I remember listening back to go, hang on, sounds like Steve Vai. Who was also famous for using harmonizers and stuff as well. Probably just around that time, maybe just before.
Okay, a bit
Passion and Warfare.
There's loads of changes in this song, isn't there? Throughout, it goes to different, and every time it trips you up, you think, and then takes you somewhere else. You're like, it could be a different song, but it's not. It's just
got different people in it as well, hasn't it? Tool singer is in it. Maynard James Keenan.
Tool and A Perfect Circle a bit later on, wasn't he?
I know
it's a hell of a scream, isn't it? He puts in there.
Someone else is in on percussion or something. Jane's Addiction. Someone.
Yes.
Oh, Jane says what a song that was.
What?
Jane's Addiction.
Oh, right.
the scream in this performed by Maynard. Does anyone else feel that it's faded out too quick?
Yeah.
It kind of, you're thinking, what a scream, and then it kind of just drops.
Yeah.
And I always like, I'm really into, as you guys know, I like that kind of raw kind of thing with vocals where you get those kind of imperfections in the voice and how
when squeaks and things.
And when screams tail off, you get that kind of last exhale of breath and stuff.
It's gone before you.
And I felt a bit cheated because you don't get it on that, which is a shame.
Yeah.
The other part in this that stands out to me is the lyric Defiance, where he goes D, the E, the F. You know, where he spells it out.
Yeah.
He really, you think, I'm with you on this.
Like a cheerleader.
Yeah, I don't really know what you mean, but I'm with you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's we mentioned earlier, didn't we, about how certain lines in some of these songs really. They just jump out the speakers, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And the one for this is wreck the mic, wreck the stage, wreck the system.
Yeah.
For me, it's brilliant.
Powerful.
The way his delivery is great. And my favorite, one of my favorite lines on the whole album actually is "What the land of the free. Whoever told you that is your enemy."
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Really good.
Love
It's a great song. Really, really great song.
Yeah.
At the end of this, Rick.
Yes.
There's an effect on the bass. Is that an envelope filter?
Might be. I don't know. He did, or it might have been later.
I think he
used
drops
wahs
the bass,
on his.
isn't where it's just the bass going.
Yeah. He used wahs on his bass, but I think that was later on in later songs, so
okay.
it could have been. any number of things.
What's
Yeah.
an envelope filter?
It's something you post.
I was going to say. It's-
It's where you set the envelope like a. Yeah, I know what you're setting me up to sound geeky, aren't you?
no, I was.
You are. I know. I can see it
I
coming.
don't want a geeky answer. It's
All right.
just a weird title for a thing, isn't it?
do you know what? I actually had was it an envelope synthwire? I actually had
Oh, yeah,
one, but I haven't got it anymore.
I think I bought it for you as a gift, didn't I? And you've clearly sold it.
Don't tell him, Brett. Sorry, what?
Nothing.
What?
Yeah.
I think
that's
special
time.
mention as well for the lyrics and the delivery over the outro of this song.
Yes. Yeah.
It's right. The way it repeats, the line repeats, and then the band cut out, and the line repeats 4 times, doesn't it? And the final line,
Yeah.
he slows it down very slightly. His sense of rhythm on that is just absolutely wicked.
Yeah.
It's,
All of which are American dreams. That's the
Yes,
line, isn't it? Where
yeah.
it's just yeah.
Is really strong.
And all the
Yes.
things he's listed, which are compromise. Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up. Like ignorance,
Yeah.
hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
submission.
of which are American dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's one of my favorite songs.
Wow.
Really, really love it. Track 7, Wake Up.
Yes. Amazing. Love this.
Love the groove. That simplicity of that groove when it comes in. It changes up, but just that kick and snare.
And I love that it sounds like Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
It does sound
It does,
like
doesn't
Kashmir,
it?
doesn't it?
I love that. Do you know there's a weird thing with? Oh no!
Is that
Have I
done on
made this
purpose?
up?
Because it's almost like
I think it's a tip of the hat, isn't it? It's
Is it a tip of the hat, or is
I
it
think so.
almost a copyright issue?
No, it's not.
why is it not a copyright issue? Because I can't. tell the
It's not an
difference?
exact rip-off. You're going to get me. I can't remember how to play Kashmir. It's that thing, isn't it? But Kashmir's played. Whereas it's done on the bass in this, isn't it? I'm in the wrong tuning.
No, I
Why
think
it
the
the
bass
wrong
is
tuning?
just. It's pretty solid, the bass.
But there's a lot of different things going on. Yeah, no, it's reminiscent. It's not exactly the same, I think.
Yeah. But it's kind of like it's really cool because it is
It's cool
so
because-
reminiscent, isn't it?
Yeah.
It borrows heavily, doesn't it?
I was going to ask that question because it was quite an obvious thing when I listened to it, and I didn't know the answer. So
But
Yeah,
there's also, like all of the songs in some, all of their songs, there's so many great riffs. There's the bit going on. The verse is great. That's syncopation again, Brett, in the
yeah.
yeah. So it's little 16th notes again.
magic.
There's a wah, isn't there? There's like an overdub wah.
Yeah.
On top of that, which just really, it's like
Yeah,
like it
just
glues,
adding,
glues everything together.
Yeah.
yeah, adding yeah. And do you think the verse riff, that riff I just played, and with the wire and stuff, sounds a bit? There's a bit of Chili Peppers about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I quite like. There is with the. I haven't got a wire in here either, Brett. I'm not prepared, am I?
No. Sack of shit is what.
Can you say it in the style of Zach? Sack of shit, mother. Sounds like Mr. T.
You're no fool.
Oh, dear.
no.
I want to talk about my I want to talk about there's a floor tom on this.
Yep.
Okay.
That is. We talk about a lot. You go, tune the floor tom to because it's got to be in tune to something, and I'm like, no, it hasn't. The floor tom in this, when it goes to the breakdown, I've never heard a sound of a drum that complements the music so much in my life.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like-
I can't
it's
say as I
really
remember. I'll have
interesting.
to. I'll look
Go
out
back
for
and
it.
have a listen.
I will.
It's a
I
thing.
will.
It's a.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the guitar or the bass, but just the way that they work together, the sound and the note and everything.
It's not
just-
like the guitar solo bit with the talk box and kill switch thing, is it? Is that under that? Or is it in the dun 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 dun? I don't know why I don't play that instead of singing. Oh, damn. That'd have been a lot better, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I think you're onto a hit there. Dun, 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 dun.
I won't do that again.
I love it where it goes back to the main riff at the 4-minute mark of this song.
So it goes to full time. Was it?
Yeah, and it's where he the line. I think I heard a shot.
Yeah. Great moment.
Really,
Yeah.
really cool.
What about his voice when he's screaming "Wake up"?
Yeah.
That's what I need as my. I wrote down. I love his voice when he sings "Wake Up." Is what I need as my alarm clock to get me.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Well, it'd be an awesome alarm clock. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wake up!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible how he serves.
Well, that sounded
Yeah.
like me singing the riff then.
Yeah, yeah. It's just his desperation is brilliant.
Yeah,
and his
yeah.
delivery is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, track 8, Fistful of Steel.
I was waiting because Brett was doing a.
Yeah, I thought he was building up for one
Something's
there.
coming out here.
Yeah.
Well, I've struggled with this song.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I really struggled.
Is it because of the guitar in the verse?
I don't know why I struggled because I was having
high pitch.
I don't know. I think it's that guitar thing that's going on, and it just
It's
got on my tits.
it's almost like a siren, isn't it?
It's like a siren because that's how they're describing it. But I just
Yeah, but it was too siren like for you,
it's
was
just too much. I was probably having one of my low days. I was like, so I don't think I'm not even. I did listen to it all the way through, but it was a struggle. This song.
it? Okay,
for me.
that's yeah.
There's
I don't
some-
think there's a really cool swagger to the riff.
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
the kicks.
You know, it's got that kind of jam session
Yeah,
feel
It
to
has,
it.
Yeah.
totally. There's bits of
Yeah.
it that are incredible, and it's just
Also, it's got the best thing ever in it. He goes, "Oh shit!" when it goes into the guitar solo,
He does,
which we love.
Yeah, we do love that. I'm surprised you didn't pick up in the choruses of this, Brett. Another thing we love, the Fistful of Steel on beat 4, the snare and the floor tom.
Oh
That-
yeah.
But it's done in a really subtle
Subtle
kind of
way.
way. It's not like a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
boom,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
going into a section. It's just a really nice touch.
Subtle,
Yeah,
yeah,
really,
yeah.
subtle touch.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think?
yeah.
I did listen back to this after not hearing it for a while, and think there's an effect. I haven't got my guitar again. There's an effect that he's doing. Let's see if it works. Where he's going.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Are you going to say? I started to giggle and think it does sound a little bit like a dog. Like Muttley off. What was that
So what's
cartoon
that-
where he's laughing and he's going?
What sort of dogs do you hang out with?
I don't. Careful.
Scratchy string dogs.
Do you not think that sounds like a sort of dog?
Sounds like
No?
a dog that's eating too much pedigree chum to me.
Anyway, moving on.
The only thing that I like this song. I think it's really, really cool. But the title, it's a bit Manowar, isn't it, Rick?
Yeah, so
It's
Steel Panther or Manowar or
Yeah.
that. Sort of, yeah.
Steel Panther, yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe that's kind
Oh,
of.
what was Manowar? God, that's a.
I guess these guys are probably influenced by some of those.
Well, like Judas Priest and
Yeah,
things
yes,
like
yes,
that. Do you-
yes, yeah,
I don't think
Motorhead
that's
and
where
bands
that
like
comes
that.
from, is it?
You don't think
it's about
no.
the mic being a fistful of steel, isn't it? Holding the mic like a fistful of steel. Am I right?
Yeah,
Obviously, you've just gone
yeah.
straight in for Nwobum, haven't you?
that's what first came to mind.
Nwobum.
I don't think he was singing about Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. To be fair,
No, I don't.
track 9, Township Rebellion.
It's got cowbells, cowbells.
Where's my cowbell when I need it? Oh, I banned it from the studio, haven't I?
Yeah. Do you think there's a couple of things that are reminiscent of Killing in the Name?
Yeah.
Of this,
Yes,
which I
yes,
quite
yes.
like, which is
Yeah.
good.
Definitely.
I can't work out what's going on with the bass guitar in this.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, I thought you
it's
might.
a bit
I
like
don't know.
a buzzing wasp, isn't it? Like in a jam jar or
I
something.
thought you were going to ask me about that, and you're going to say, "How does he do that?" And
I might have to go away and
do some research,
do some research on that.
Put it in-
just
put it in
out
the
of
comments.
interest. Yeah.
or write to us if you know how he
If you,
did it.
if you know what it is, yeah.
Or
If
you're listening, Tim.
I think that the first half of this,
Yeah,
or the first riff,
I know what you're going to
reminds
say.
me of something else, but I can't remember what it is. It's the first riff you hear, and I listened back to it. I listened to it a lot yesterday because I thought I've got to try and get what that reminds me of, but I couldn't.
I don't know.
No.
There is guitar wise, he's got the flanger on again. I love the flanger sound on this. That's a classic 80s flanger guitar effect
Mm-hmm.
on the Shackle Their Minds bit.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think he sounds a little bit like Steve Vai with his harmonizer again, the solo. Sorry,
Mm.
I do.
Maybe you need to look up whether he's inspired by or influenced by Steve Vai.
I imagine he'd have been aware of him at that point. Yeah.
There's a hell of a scream in this. 3 minutes 13 seconds.
Either you've written
Seriously.
your memory's great, or you've written
Yeah,
something
exactly.
quite
I
nice.
remember.
It's ingrained on the memory.
Is it?
Ingrained on the brain.
Do you want to give
I
us
don't
a
want to know
demo?
what's
You
ingrained
do a
on your
scream.
brain. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to give you a scream. I'll give you. I'm not going to give you a scream. Yeah, it's really cool.
I
really,
see.
really cool.
I actually, this is another one of the songs that I felt a little bit disjointed with. I just didn't connect.
Yeah, I
struggle with it.
I think that this album is it's over 50 minutes, isn't it, as an body of work, and I think they could have cut 2 songs out of
Yeah.
this being one of them,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and Settle for Nothing being the
Okay.
other one.
Oh,
And I
would
know,
I might have
8
gone-
tracks seems like quite a short album, but I think in its length, 45-ish minutes would have been really,
punk.
yeah,
Yeah.
really, really, really punk.
Mm.
And I don't think it's overly long as it is, but I think for me, this is one of the best debuts of all time. It's one of my favourite
But it's got
albums.
a couple
I
of
listen to it
skippable
quite a lot,
songs in it.
but there are
Yeah,
2 tracks,
yeah.
possibly too many.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you
Yeah.
on that, Brett.
Um,
Track 10, final track, Freedom.
I so thought you were going to say it like Mel Gibson and Braveheart for some reason. Then I was waiting for it. I'm glad you didn't.
Freedom. No,
Cowbell's back, Brett.
but this
Cowbell and rim click. We haven't had a lot of rim in it, but a lot of
this
God, a lot of rim click. Sorry. We haven't had.
that could have been a nasty slip of the tongue.
We haven't had.
Get your thoughts together, Brett. This song.
I can't believe he said ribbon and a slip of the tongue.
Why did I just say
I
that?
don't know.
Why does my brain work like
I
that?
don't know.
It's
The
like you've got to put
filter's
it in the
gone.
head.
The filter's gone. The last track. This is great. This sums the album up to me that it does actually start with an almighty doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he says, "Bring that shit in again."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. It is brilliant.
And it's got their soulful. I can't talk either. Soulful bluesy solo to it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's a different kind of groove as well with the rim
Yeah.
click and the cowbell. It's just really cool.
It's like a great Led Zeppelin. I'm not going to play the riff. I think we've had enough of me playing guitar, especially if it's not working. But the riff, is very Led Zeppelin-y in this one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Mhm.
yeah.
There's the guitar chords in the verse, Rick.
Oh, yep, okay.
Okay, his voicing of them.
Mm-hmm.
They remind me a little bit of Eddie Van Halen.
Ooh, okay.
Did either of you hear that?
No, that's not.
Didn't.
No, not especially.
No.
But he does play some great voice chords and unusual chords as
Yeah.
well at times, which is
Yeah, they
Not what
really
you
stood
expect.
out in this. But yeah, have a listen to it.
he does a lot of it. Obviously, it's the effects that Tom Morello does, and the really cool kill switch, the wahs, the whammy pedals, the flange. There's so much cool effects and things that he's come up with, which is really groundbreaking and innovative.
Yeah.
But it's also just that he does some really intelligent scale choices in the solos, the feel changes. The chords he uses aren't what you'd expect. It's not always power chordy. It's sometimes he plays things with single notes when you'd expect it to be big rock power chords, and it's not. He just very sort of. I think he's put a lot of thought into it in a cool
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But saying that,
he's an
I do think the
incredible.
guitars sound a bit Iron Maiden-y in this.
Do you?
Yeah, the harmony bit.
Excuse
So
me. The riff at
harmony.
the end reminds me. It comes in at 3:40. Right, I'm giving you a reference point
Or
here.
20
so
to 4.
what? Well, maybe if you're running a little late. It reminds me of Even Flow by Pearl Jam.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
That it's got that yeah.
Yeah.
It's the bit where he goes "Anger is a gift." There's a harmony guitar which I think sounds. Well, I think it's the bit you're singing, and it comes in with a harmony over it. And there's a
Yeah, there is a harmony. It does come in.
bit,
yeah.
yeah, and it sounds a bit
it's not
Iron
long
Maiden
before
harmony.
there's the bring that shit in line. That
Oh yeah,
Like, it just doesn't sound as good, does it? Maybe it's
No.
a British.
British.
Do we sound too polite if we
yeah. But if you bring
bring
the shit in,
bring that shit in?
it sounds like you're talking. Yeah. What's the dog done? Would you mind?
Well, maybe it's the dog smell that you know gives you that face
Oh, what, for the groove?
for the groove, the
the
groove
groove.
face.
The bass groove.
There must be that must be a thing.
Yeah.
There must be a name for that.
It's called dog turding.
Dear me.
The last bit of this is proper heavy, isn't it? It's heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Really, really heavy.
Do you enjoy that?
What, the heavy
heaviness?
bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
do at the
Yeah.
end.
You
D-
didn't.
You don't, do you?
No.
Oh.
Did you found it too overwhelming?
Think so, yeah.
Did it scare you?
Yeah. I got scared a lot listening to this. I wouldn't want to be in the middle of this lot. Just
No.
but amazing, there's so much amazing I say genius a lot, don't I? About this album.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. A
But
completely.
there's a lot that I connect with, and there's a lot that for me personally I don't, but that's cool. That's music.
Yeah.
If you
isn't
think about what was before and what came afterwards, it's so
Yes.
groundbreaking,
Oh,
and so
totally.
different.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
not just the styles of music, but the legacy it had and the influence
Yeah.
it had, massive.
And also them as a band. I think they only
Mm.
put out four
Yeah,
studio albums.
I think you're right.
But to be, as you say, have created that legacy. And I often wonder with Rage because I've listened to their other stuff, but nothing grabs me like this does.
No, this is the album for me. If you're going to put on an album and start to finish,
yeah, it is this. And I wonder if it's because all of a sudden a lot of the things they were singing about, they're kind of, they'd all made money, and they weren't in the same situation.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because they all went off and have been activists in their own rights, haven't they? Particularly Zach and Tom. I'm only saying Zach because I don't want to say Rocha because I don't want to get it wrong. Rocha.
Yes.
Zach De La Rocha and Tom Morello, particularly, I don't know so much about the other two, but they've certainly had careers in activism since. So I don't know if that's the case. I think it's because they jammed and gelled really well as a band, and it was fresh and exciting, and they weren't distracted, more so than it being about money. There wasn't additional things going on, because they don't always get on. Well, 3 of them went into Audioslave, didn't they? But
and Prophets of Rage, I think, was that 3 of them as well?
Yes, that was the same, wasn't it? Different singer again. And yeah.
So, favorite track. Favorite track.
Brett, Killing in the Name of for me.
Oh, really?
Just because
Classic.
there's so much in that. There's so much texture in that, and iconic parts that you.
Yeah, I mean, if someone said to you, "Oh, who's Rage Against the Machine?" that would be the song you play. Yeah. Rick,
I think I'm going to go with Bomb Track.
Ooh,
I think I am.
What about you, Joe?
I can't decide. I've been thinking about it, and I can't decide.
Oh. Well, you should have thought some more about it.
I know I've given it too much thought, really, and I've confused myself. I would possibly Killing in the Name, but Take the Power Back is incredible as well.
Bullet in Your Head is also.
Bullet in Your Head is incredible. Bomb Track is incredible. Wake Up is incredible. It's just for me. It's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll go. It's a great album.
Yeah, and it's because it sounds so good now. It's it hasn't dated. It's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Cool.
So should we wrap it up there? Leave it there?
Yeah, I need a wee really bad. So I'm off.
Right. See you all soon.
On that note,
bye.
Thanks for listening.
Please check out our band, Damn the Wolves.
Find us at damnthewolves.com and please follow us on all the usual socials.